So we don't have a lot to talk about in the box office this week. Now we do have Avatar coming out tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So since we're not doing a show next week, in a couple of weeks, the 29th, we're going to be able to really talk about how well it's doing, one way or the other.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But for right now, oh hey, look, it's Wakanda Forever at the top, and it's underperforming compared to the previous movie. And you might go, 800 million worldwide is underperforming. You consider that the first movie made 1.3
Okay.
billion after 6 years ago before a whole bunch of inflation and even higher ticket inflation.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And of course, that movie that was kind of peak MCU at that point,
Hmm.
and of course, Chadwick Boseman was still with us. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, this first of all, I remember seeing a tweet somewhere like, "Oh, Black Panther is number one 5 weeks in a row." Yeah. What else is coming? What else has been coming
Yep.
out lately? Like, it's not the victory you think it is.
Right. It's basically a forfeit because they didn't make a whole lot of new movies for 2 years. A lot of
Right.
what we're getting this year is leftovers made immediately before or during the pandemic.
Hmm. Yeah, and this one was definitely a pandemic made movie from what I've heard because of just the way like the characters are spaced out and in scenes
Ugh.
and yeah, yeah.
Ugh. But as far as other movies, it's telling that Top Gun Maverick returned to theaters and is still in the top 15.
I didn't know they brought that back.
Yep, they brought it back a couple weeks back, I think.
Okay.
Like it's not adding a whole lot to its total, but it's adding something.
Yeah. Yeah. But
And
yeah.
Devotion. It's a movie about the Korean War. Those are rare.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wow. The menu looks interesting to me. It's a kind of a horror comedy movie.
Hmm.
But yeah, Ray Fiennes plays a kind of like a Gordon Ramsay type of celebrity chef. It's
Is the menu people?
um maybe I don't know, like Soylent Green, but but yeah, I mean, but that's a movie that's a very obviously a smaller indie, you know,
Yeah.
movie that but
It's made nearly 60 million. That's nothing to sneeze at.
no, yeah, don't know what the budget is on it.
Um,
Doesn't say.
doesn't say, but it can't be that much.
No, because I think from what it sounds like, it's like very central location. There's probably not a whole lot of
Uh,
CGI.
It's overperforming its chart, which is nice.
Yeah,
Or it's at the top of its chart, I should say. Um, yeah, they have it in a pretty decent number of theaters.
yeah,
So good on them.
yeah. Um, but yeah, it's yeah, and of course you got Black Adam, which is
We'll put a pin in that.
yeah, we'll put a pin in that. But
That's basically done making money.
yeah, and that movie needed to do 600 apparently needed to do 600 million to break even, and it's not gonna make get there.
It's not going to get to 400 million. It looks like.
Yeah, and this probably this probably, and we'll probably bring this up again in our one of our later topics. But yeah, yeah, this did not go the way that they were hoping.
Nope. I mean, it's better than dumping it right to HBO Max when you get down to it, because money was still made to offset expenses. But yeah, for a $200 million movie, no.
No, yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's basically all we have for this. Or at least for last week. Um, of course, like we were saying, we got Avatar coming out tonight, and
All right. So, since we are so good at predictions,
Yes,
we
yes.
we're always 100% right. You can go back and watch our old streams. We're never completely mistaken about anything.
Right, right.
The future is ours to see, which makes you wonder why we don't make our millions in the stock market.
Exactly.
So,
Uh,
do you think that Avatar 2 is going to break $1 billion?
a billion? Yes.
Okay,
I think it will make a billion. Yeah.
very well. How about 2 billion?
Mm, well, it's got some things working for it. It's got some things working against it. Um, if it, d- um, I'm going to say that it'll probably go a little over 2 billion.
Okay. So, my prediction is that it will um, break a billion because it got into China, which the last few Marvel movies that didn't break a billion have not.
Hmm. Although Spider-Man: No Way Home didn't get into China, and that made almost 2 billion.
I always tell people, hey, I have a thing that I do every Thursday after work, and they don't call me Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday.
They only call you on Thursday.
They only call me on Thursday. Anyhow, okay, so my prediction is that it will limp over $1 billion. I'm going to go hard into the it's not doing crap category. Or if
Okay.
it has a big opening weekend, it will die,
Hmm.
just like the Marvel movies have been.
Okay.
So you might say, what is this based on? Well, the complete lack of a real fandom that I'm aware of for Avatar.
Yeah.
So you don't have a hardcore audience to go out there. The fact that basically every movie looks as pretty as the original Avatar did anymore. The fact that we have so many bombs back to back is between Black Adam and a bunch of others. Like, and also the fact that it is a 3 hour and 12-minute movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I honestly feel like really hurt The Batman? The
Three
fact that
hour
it was
movie.
nearly 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's and the first time I watched The Batman, if I'd been in theaters, I probably would have hated it because there were some points where I was getting bored and thinking, hey, how much longer is this going to last? Now, the second time I watched The Batman, I could enjoy it much more because I basically knew how long it was going to last.
Right. Yeah.
So that's a long ass investment to ask anybody to sit through.
That's true. Yeah. And of course, that also means less showings per theater,
Yep. Or
so less tickets sold.
yep. I'm curious to see if does the numbers have a prediction? Da-da-da-da.
It might be back at the very top. Is that what it said? Or
Well, they say it's making landfall. Let's see if they have a
okay.
projection for it. Although
I I'm I've
they've been
I,
clowned by so many projections lately that
yeah. I've been hearing opening weekend uh total box office would probably be around 600 billion.
we'll see. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm making a bold prediction based on no math
right.
and just like the fact that the box office in general seems to be down and
Yeah.
a bunch of other factors working against it.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right about that. Like Avatar, the first movie was not the pop culture, um, you know, didn't have the pop culture impact that you know I'm sure James Cameron was hoping that it would.
Right. I
And
mean,
yeah.
think back to when you were a kid. I was a grown man before I watched Terminator or Terminator 2. I knew so much about that movie because pop culture was just so full of parodies of Schwarzenegger and the Terminator specifically. Think about
Yeah.
how many cartoons that you watched growing up had to have the muscle bound character with the bad Bavarian accent.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, and I'll bring up another James Cameron movie, Titanic.
Yeah,
You-
years of
you-
Titanic parodies and references.
oh
I'm the
yeah,
king of the world.
oh yeah. How many times have we heard the discussion of why didn't Rose just move further on the door so Jack could get on, like
Yep, they made an episode of what do you call it?
MythBusters?
MythBusters
Yeah,
that showed that she wasn't in the wrong.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and it's you know, but we haven't had that with Avatar. I mean, how many times have I mean, has it ever been quoted in anything you've watched? No.
Put a gun to my head and make me quote a line from Avatar if you want to paint the wall.
Yeah. Actually, I could give you one quote, and it's like the dumbest line in the whole movie.
Was it
I
Korra's talking about fighting terror with terror or whatever it was?
No, it's the romantic line. I
Oh,
see you.
I okay. One line.
One line. Yeah, I see you. That's all I remember.
And the only reason I remember that one was like the only parodies I saw that was like a Happy Harry cartoon on Netflix on Newgrounds at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so yeah, so I mean you're gonna have so yeah, so the fact that you have that, and the fact that it's been 13 years
Hmm.
since the first Avatar movie. um it's too short a time to be considered a legacy sequel,
Hmm.
and too long a time that it's not really fresh in people's memories.
Now, I will fully admit I am likely going to look very stupid, but I have this feeling that it's going to do less than people think,
Mm,
just because of a bunch of outside factors. I could be mistaken. I'm okay with being mistaken. I just feel it. I
yeah.
don't have numbers to base it on, but it's just like, well,
Mm,
we'll see.
yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, I think I was a little was a little reluctant to make a prediction, but I mean, part of me thinks it will probably get really close to breaking that 2 billion mark, which is the break even point. Just because the whole thing of you don't want to you know don't underestimate James Cameron. That's
That's fair.
yeah,
Hey, you know
but
what? I'm going to underestimate James Cameron.
okay.
But I will say that I think that 1.2 billion is probably my ceiling on it,
Mm.
where I see it going.
And in all honesty, I could see it making that. Yeah, I could see that happening. I could also I could see it. I could see anything happening with this movie. To be honest,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's interesting. Like we're going to talk in a minute about how online discussion and very passionate people can really make something seem elevated. If
Hmm.
something just appeals to normies and people aren't just aren't inclined to talk about it on social media, that could make you underestimate something.
Hmm.
So maybe I'm guilty of that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. It's well. I mean, again, we're trying to we're kind of an armchair predict doing this, and that's you know yeah.
Yep. I don't have numbers. I just have my gut, and boy, has my gut been wrong before. That's why I'm
Yeah.
trying to kill it with exercise and diet.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the first time I was wrong about something.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's same here. Yeah.
But you know who was the first to
Mm.
transition to our first topic?
Yes.